Here we are, day one of HAMMERFEST, and my very first band for interview is Anihilated.
Hello.
Hey.
I am so pleased to see these guys again. They did a fantastic set at Birmingham.
Thank you very much.
And the sweaty hugs after were greatly appreciated.
They were very wet, weren't they?
But yeah, it was a brilliant set, and it was great chatting to you then as well. So tell me, what have you been up to since Birmingham?
Cool. Since Birmingham, we've been writing new material. Idevian actually got released.
Yes, it did.
We haven't had a single poor review of it yet. I'm sure there's probably some out there, but I haven't seen any of them. And new material's being written. We've got Mr. Danny, whose influence has been hammering in there. So when the bastard slows down enough for us old bastards to catch up, it's a lot easier.
Yeah, I decided that some of the new stuff I was writing was just to try to, work the old boys hard.
He likes working his old boys hard.
Yes.
So how's it all fitting together then, you know?
It's settling really well, aren't you?
Yeah.
I think so.
He's house trained though. It's been lovely because I think for us it was such a nice natural progression. Danny coming in, he was already a really good friend. He already knew what we were about, we knew what he was about.
Pretty seamless.
Yeah, so it's we're all really keen for it. So
Yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot as well, and it's nice to be playing six strings again because I play bass in a couple of other bands, so it's nice to actually get back to guitar, which is my main thing anyway.
Oh,
So that feels good.
And very good you are too.
Thank you very much.
You want to
So much love, isn't there?
there's lots of love in our room.
Oh yeah.
Wonders what a check will do.
Yeah, I didn't pay him anything. I promised him I'd have a cuddle later.
You big hairy bear.
Yeah.
I got to give you extra cuddles from Regina as well. So,
Okay, we'll get those later.
You'll have those later, yeah.
Nice.
So Ideviant, and after what else this year been happening?
We've been arranging gigs. We've been preparing for this gig. We've got London. We're playing the Bloodstock Serpent Club at the Intrepid Fox next weekend.
Yep.
Last gig there. But then we're going to close it down, possibly with volume. And then we're headlining Full Thrash Assault in Wakefield.
Yep.
And then Danny's away for a couple of months touring Chile and all these other places.
Yeah, I've got a few
gigs
shows
lined up
with the other bands,
So we take a little bit of a break from playing gigs, but we'll still be putting stuff together.
Right.
And then we've got Rock and Metal Circus, and there's a few other irons into fire, which I can't really tell you about right now.
Okay, that all sounds very, very good. Right. So, festivals, Rock and Metal Circus.
Yeah.
That was the weekend after, was it Birmingham last year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you get to go to that one and watch any of the bands?
Didn't get to
year?
go to that last year. They've moved venue this year.
They
so
have?
They're at Sywell Aerodrome.
Yeah. Yeah.
it looks like a great venue though.
Yeah, it looks good. Looks good.
Looks like it should be very cool.
There's some good bands playing. I mean, American Head Charger on, and although they're not everybody's cup of tea, they're one of the bands that got me kind of into a little bit of that kind of newer metal sort of stuff because they were just a bit different, I think. Yeah. And of course, our good mates Cremated are playing.
Oh yeah.
And they're about to release a new album.
Yep.
Shall I sing on?
Yeah, so I was doing guest vocals.
I did some guest vocals on there. And I've got
stuff.
another guest vocal project in the pipeline as well, where I'll probably doing all the vocals for it. So that's going to be a hardcore.
Yeah.
Song
He's very much in demand.
for my shoutiness.
Yeah. Yeah, if you need someone to scare your kids,
I'm your man.
you know who to call.
Who are you going to call?
The Cobbinator.
Yeah. I can't help it. It just comes naturally.
So going back to Birmingham and festival since and going to, I mean, Birmingham, it was such a family-orientated festival, and the kids there were brilliant, absolutely amazing.
That was great.
How do you find, adjusting to all these different festivals that you have to go to with different types of crowd?
Well, I guess we just go on and do our thing. As how you sort of how you carry yourself and behave off the stage more than anything. Yeah. Because obviously, if you're at a place like Birmingham and you do have small children around, then you got to watch how you carry on to a certain extent. Because although you don't want to not be you. You've got to just bear in mind that you know, other considerations.
Yeah, and also, you know, they're the kids that, if they are at festivals very young with mum and dad, then they're getting a good grounding to be into sort of the next generation of metal and rock bands. And
It has a big influence on them, doesn't it?
it does have a big influence, but also, I mean, it's not so bad anymore, but, you know, heavy metal and stuff can get a bad name and people think, oh, it's this and it's a bad influence on kids. And it doesn't have to be at all.
No.
It doesn't have to be at all.
I mean, we're after BM I got an email from a guy, I think his name's Bill, I think it was Bill Huggins actually. I had an email from him, and his grandson had got out of bed, his 3-year-old grandson, got out of bed, come and watched us for a couple of songs, and then gone back in. He said, I like them. So I had a couple of small T-shirts, so I sent him one. You know, just thought, well, just have one, you know, little sausage. So it was lovely.
Yeah.
I think we have mentioned to you before that we do find that we do get people bringing their sons and their grandsons along. You know, we've got 3 generations come to see us because, you know, Dad or Mum used to come and see us back in the day. So we are used to that kind of thing.
It's like when we played in Kent, and the guy came up and goes, my mum used to have a picture of you on her wall.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I thought, what is your mum coming? And he said, no, she's too old. That made me feel so good.
But it's all part of the big heavy metal family, isn't it? It is a big family, and that's the way it should be, really.
It is. I mean, because there has been some bad press about metal, you know, with different members of different bands doing things that they shouldn't. And it sometimes tells everybody with the same brush, not that you all do it, but saying, oh, well, you know, we always said metal music wasn't good, etc. So it's good to see bands being positive about what they do.
We welcome we always have welcome everybody. But like I say, our show is our set, if you like, is our set, and we work to our strengths.
But you also, you know, you wouldn't say you change for the audience. So you're always the band that you are.
Yeah.
But there's having the common sense and the decency that if someone's brought their kids with them, you don't like that, because their kids are enjoying it and they don't need to be shouted at and abused. They can have just as much fun if you just put on a good show. Yeah. You don't have to try to be shocking or over the top or anything like that to put on a show that entertains people, do you? It's just.
And let's face it, it's the old chestnut, isn't it? Whenever there's anything bad in a film, they always put some form of heavy metal on in the background.
Or a biker.
Or a biker, yeah. Yes, or a biker. But there you go, that's because we're bad lads.
But if you look more at, with, you know, without going too far into it, but you look more at, say, the type of role model that someone like, I don't know, even like someone like Rob Halford is, compared to someone like Miley Cyrus or, you know, Justin Bieber, like getting off his face and drink driving.
Mind you, I would rather watch Miley Cyrus twerk than Rob
Halford
Halford.
on his fans and everything.
Those people are no examples set for kids.
No, I mean, Bieber is all over the press at the moment with his behaviour and fall from grace. You can't put yourself up as an angel. We're not angels. But I mean, I know all of us do a lot of work for charity, you know, which we don't shout about, do we? You know, but we do lots of work for charity, and you know, we're grebos, punks, whatever you want to call us.
Just do what you can do.
Yeah. Really. It's just strange that the whole pop culture, the Biebers, the Miley Cyrus, that whole culture isn't tarred with that brush like heavy metal is for some reason.
Which is very true.
And there's more trouble at those kind of those concerts. And I know we're talking about sometimes pre-teen girls, but it becomes almost tribal. You know, we talk. I mean, in IDB on the album, we talk about how, you know, cult of the celebrity and how, you know, you're told what to like and what not to like, and you've got these children enforcing that. And you know, death threats to someone who says they don't like Justin Bieber.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy shit.
And you know, if you got like little girls and stuff like that looking up to someone who is whatever their image is and whatever they're like as a person, I mean, I'm absolutely under no illusion that, say, Miley Cyrus is anything like her public image in real life. It's just very clever marketing. But you also don't want 10 and 11-year-old girls dressing like a stripper who's just finished their shift, because they think that's what's cool.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just not right, is it?
So
Dress just like she's just finished her shift.
Just finished.
Right, okay.
Tired.
You did say shift, didn't you?
Yeah.
That's all right.
I'm talking.
I just see the mental
I'm
picture
talking
there.
the daytime strippers. I'm talking the B team as well.
BT, yeah. Not those ones that you paid for the other day.
No,
No, that's all right.
not those ones.
They were
That's
high class.
part of my charity work. the Soapy Car Wash Benevolent Fund. I do a lot of work for them. And,
I always find there's
I'm
only
very
2
proud of
points
it.
on my screen that get clean.
Now.
Sorry.
right, so you're playing tonight at.
7:30.
Cool. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it should be really good. I was actually I'm very pleased that we're here anyway, because the HAMMERFEST team are brilliant. They always are. Particularly Terry, who I love lots, who always helps us out with everything we ever need.
We've just cuddled the entire team. They loved it. You know.
But they've given us what I think should be a really good slot. 7:30 opening night. Everyone's just arrived. Everyone wants to have a good time and party, and so it should be good.
Yeah, I can't fault the HAMMERFEST team. They've been amazing. Really treated us so well. From the merch guy, Roy, who was so welcoming, Terry, like I say, and all of the girls, and Claire, they've been lovely. So.
And we got a sea view.
And we got a sea view from our caravan, which is rather nice.
I know where
literally
you
right on
are.
the beach.
Yeah.
You know where we are, is that a
I've got a
threat?
rough idea. Yeah. No, not at all.
I know where you live.
Makes a difference from the old dumpsters around the back of the loos that we're used to.
Yeah.
Oh. So just mind the seagulls.
Yeah, that's all right. We don't intend to be outside very much. Apart from Danny, who's going to be, he's bought his diving suit. He's going in the
I
water.
brought my wetsuit and everything with me, because I thought I can't be that close to the sea and not be in it. So
I might just
Oh, it's
go
not
in
for on
my
stage
pants.
then.
no, it might be a
Vest
bit
and
sweaty
pants.
on the way.
I refuse to go on the beach because Greenpeace keep covering me in lard and rolling me back in the water. I got fed up with it, bastards. Bloody Greenpeace.
So
Bloody do-gooders.
with the state, we talked this about briefly before about venues closing, and since then there's been even more closing down. Where do you think this is all going to end?
It's going to end up. I mean, there's we've seen it's quite difficult to put together a really good little tour because so many venues are either closing or don't want metal or want cover bands. It's quite difficult to put original shows on in the UK.
I mean, we're not like prolific giggers as such. We don't play every single week, and I don't think that's something that we would be doing anyway. But obviously, the places that are left, it is people are struggling because of the recession, obviously. But from a personal point of view, even going way back, we've been through this before, and someone will come through, even if they'll last for 6 months. There'll be opportunities to play. It's just trying to make sure or trying to see that those places survive, because it does. It take people. A lot of people don't realise it does cost a lot of money and time to put shows on, and I take my hat off to anyone who does promotion. It's a very difficult task, but especially on the lower level.
The thing is, as well, without sounding too much like being on the other side of the fence, sometimes it's not a bad thing. Obviously, it's terrible when all the venues are shutting down and people are losing their work and losing their money and stuff like that. However, when we've seen this happen before, this cycle, the bad promoters and the people who don't put in the effort are the ones who go out first.
Yes.
Because they think putting on a show is just making a Facebook event that no one reads, and then they go, why didn't anyone show up? Because they've done no promotion. They haven't bothered with flyers, they haven't bothered getting the word out. So in as bad as it sounds, you will lose the bad promoters first. Some people will get lost in the shuffle, which is always bad. But it's like the punk movement, or even like the early 90s grunge movement over again. If people want to put shows on and people want to go to shows, they'll find a village hall like this, someone's mate's got a PA, someone can cobble together some lights, and there will be shows that kids will go to.
Yeah.
But that will show the people who are actually willing to put in the effort and do it properly.
And usually,
so
and
it's sort of
usually
six
those
one,
events
half
are the
dozen
ones
the
that
other.
really are good and come off really well, aren't they?
Yeah. And people like, like HAMMERFEST or Bloodstock and stuff like that. I mean, like I'm sure you'll remember like when Bloodstock was indoors and it was tiny. But that was just because people like Vicky and her dad had the vision to go, all right, let's give this a try and keep pushing, and they work really, really hard.
Yeah.
And then there are people who don't work as hard and think they can just wing it because it's easy, and they'll fail, but they always will. So I do feel really bad for people who genuinely work their arse off and lose their venue or lose a place to do it for whatever reason. But I do think the people who work hard, they will rise to the top always. Because if they promote a show, and that, like with one of my other bands, we've done like UK tours where the turnout's been relatively disappointing, and we've had people come up to us like, say we've done a UK run and then we played Bloodstock Festival. People come up to us and go, "Oh, we didn't even know you were playing." Well, if there's only one venue in your town and one promoter putting on metal shows, and the metal fans in that town don't know there's a show on, then that promoter isn't doing their job. So, it's like, it sounds quite ruthless, but I do think the people who really want to put shows on and people who love the music will always be able to do it, even if it's in a sports hall with a borrowed PA system or something.
And on the smaller scale, I mean, the big struggle obviously is young up and coming bands starting off trying to get their to get their platform, if you like. But again, people who are young and keen, we all did when we were young and keen. We made it happen. You just go out and you just put together, like it happens in Ipswich. There's a little thrash scene going on, pops his head up now and again, but it goes on, it keeps rolling, because people just they want to find somewhere to play and they'll carry on.
Yeah,
but it is sad, like Danny says, when good people fall by the wayside, but
it's the way of the internet and things, in as much as, like I say, someone will put on a show and the only promotion they'll do is a Facebook event. Now, I've got probably 200 Facebook events in my inbox that I will never look at, because most of them are going to be not bad shows, but most of them will be a show in Norway tomorrow night or a show in Brazil that obviously I'm not going to go to.
Yeah, we get one for South Africa, but love to go one day.
Whereas when I first started playing in bands, there'd be the four of us at least 3 times a week, doing hand-drawn and hand-photocopied flyers. We'd go out and we'd just paste them everywhere. We'd keep getting nicked by the police because we're flour and water pasting them on every lamppost and shop windows and stuff like that.
I remember those days.
But we could, as an unsigned band of 17-year-olds that no one had heard of, we could sell out a 250 capacity venue every single night. And you can't do that anymore because people don't promote it or work hard.
I mean, I think what a lot of people don't realise is they'll put something up on Facebook and not everybody they know sees it.
No.
Yeah, because you just ignore them, because it's lost under the internet as a whole, it's lost under the pile of everything else that's out there.
Yeah.
But you find that if you go out and you play in shows, I mean, we used to go to every other gig that week, just stand outside, flyer in all night.
You target your audience.
And we'd get more people that way, definitely, than just going, "Oh, we're playing here tomorrow night," or "I hope everyone shows up."
It's the same with everything. You put, on as you start out, DIY. If you put the effort in, you'll get the result. It is a very difficult job, and like I say again, I take my hat off to anyone who does promoting, because it's bloody hard.
But maybe aside from the recession, maybe this is the punk reshuffling of the whole system.
Yeah,
again,
it could be.
Which is possibly what it needs.
Yeah.
Without sounding too mean.
Well, the thrash scene did, and in the 90s, there was a lot of bad stuff, and it sorted itself out, regrouped, and came back even stronger. And what you've got now is, bloody good musicianship. Some of these young lads and lasses, they blow us away from when we were young.
Yeah, absolutely.
The standard is just gone like this. So sometimes, as Danny said, it's good to have a clean out, although it can be cruel, but it's good to just have a good clean out, and the best will survive. I suppose it's nature's way.
It's
just the way it is.
Survival of the fittest. It's Darwinism in action. There are certain bands out there that, I won't say names, but everybody knows there are certain bands out there who maybe get a lot of press for being the band that almost made it, and they came so close, or maybe they'll make a film about that sort of thing. But if you listen to their albums, if they were a better band, they probably would have done. It's that whole reshuffling of just clear out what's not very good, and the good stuff will rise. Really.
So it wouldn't be quite as good as this album.
I have nothing to do with that. I didn't play on it.
I
did produce it though.
And you produced
it's amazing.
And you engineered it. And it was recorded at your studio.
It was recorded at my studio. Brilliant. Best album I've ever heard.
Right. So, and how can people get hold of this wonderful album?
You go online.
It's available on our website, isn't it?
Yep.
www.annihilated.com.
Annihilated.com. You can get it through us, and we've still got some. Just
iTunes.
Google it.
Yeah, you can buy a digital version on iTunes.
If you live in Japan, it's in
HMV.
Spotify.
It depends what country you're in. iTunes. You can download it.
It's a different version. iTunes is a different version to the CD. The physical CD has got extra bits in it that you can get off iTunes.
The tricky thing is with people not wanting to pay for music these days, and that's just the way it is. It's sort of we like to bring out a copy CD, obviously, because that's what you want. But people are always going to just download everything on their iPods, and that's why we did two versions. We did a download friendly, and we did the full CD for people who wanted to read. And there's a lot of, I'm very proud of the lyrics that Simon wrote on the album, because Anihilated is a lot about what we say as much as the music, really.
And if you've heard the full version, it's almost a story rather than the download version, which is just songs.
It's almost a concept album, isn't it? When they were booked into the studio, where there weren't any noisy people
with shotguns.
No, when they were booked into the studio, they came to me to produce. And they basically came to me with this album which had a collection of songs, but each song has a link, and there are like 30-second or 10-second linking pieces between. So on the CD, it's more like a concept album where everything kind of flows. But if you go on iTunes, you can just get the tracks where it's just bang your head thrash all the way through without the filler bits.
But it's the links, the filler bits, as you say, that are quite integral to the whole meaning of the album.
Story, yeah.
There's a lot of spoken word.
We've had a few mentions on a couple of reviews saying, I don't get this bit or that bit, and from people in foreign lands, but probably they haven't been able to understand or what the link is all about. Because it's integral. The links are integral, as Todd said, to the music. It's a story. It's our thought process on how things are at the moment, and pretty much like we are social commentators, and that's what Anihilated are about, and that's how we get it.
One thing that's surprised us though is the lack of comments on a particular track on there called Hellforged Mars.
Yeah.
We had quite a few comments, but not so much in the mainstream media. Because Hellforged Mask is it's a trial. It's tough to listen to, but a bit like that, it's very tough to listen to. So but it's a very hard-hitting piece. It's not a song.
I can see him. He's on a grassy knoll. There's a second gun on the side.
He keeps missing.
On a giant roll of bubble.
Anyway,
my final question to you is Metallica and other bands have now decided to go and ask the fans, I'm on tour, what do you want us to play? Have you ever thought about doing that?
Not yet. No, we haven't. We haven't got a vast, massive back catalogue that is current to what we do now.
Yeah.
We're constantly asked, are you doing any of the old albums? Well, we made a conscious decision, not to say it won't change. We're always open to discussion on things, but we made a conscious decision that we would look forward and not look back. You know, once we've put something out, we'll deal with it. I mean, iDeviant, we probably will be playing songs off that for quite a while. But the stuff from way back, no, that's a different time. That's a different, you know. If you spend so much time filling you get so much time on stage. If you're going to fill it with all the old stuff, when what you're trying to do is do what you're current now, especially when you've got new members.
And for me,
it's not really fair.
As the new boy as well. I mean, the new stuff, like say the last 2 albums particularly, it's almost a different genre, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, the old stuff's punk,
Yeah.
punk and crossover, and then this is
Yeah.
thrash,
Yeah,
really.
right,
you
yeah.
know, so I'm sure some of the old songs, maybe 1 or 2, would go over with a thrash crowd as well. You know, you can often be surprised by what people will listen to, you know, like and what people like. I mean, I played a show a couple of weeks ago where one of my bands was on the bill, but then the rest of the lineup was like The Exploited, Napalm Death and Hatebreed. And The Exploited had to pull out because he had a heart attack the day before. But
That'd do it.
But essentially you've got a grindcore band, us sort of a death thrash band, a modern hardcore band, and an old school sort of almost crust punk band, and people love it. But I think sometimes you need to kind of try. It's difficult when you pick a set list and try to make it cohesive. Otherwise, it can be. You know, when you see a band and the set's not quite right, and there's bits where it drops and stuff. It doesn't mean the songs are bad. It just doesn't flow.
And the other thing is that the new material we've been writing with Danny is another move on from iDeviant. Obviously, it will. He brings his style and his influence to the mix, which is what we want.
It's banging.
And so therefore, you know, as Danny said, they don't always tend to work well together. So and obviously, as all bands are, when you write new stuff, you're excited to get that out and concentrate and play on that.
Yeah.
You know,
We
so
always
forward thinking. Really.
Yeah, we tonight we'll
It's
be
all-
playing stuff from Scorched Earth Policy, and from iDeviant.
But there's always more new, fresh things to write about and to sort of to get out there, and that's what we're about, really. I think at the moment.
Whenever you see a band interviewed, they always say, "Oh, the new album's our best stuff we've ever written." But if you don't feel like that, you know, if you don't believe that as a band, that the new thing is the best thing you've ever done, then there's probably not much point in doing it.
Why are you releasing
The fans will always disagree with you, no matter what.
Yeah.
You know, you can split them 50-50. Well, I only like the old stuff, I only like the new stuff. But as people within the band, if you don't think, well, this is the best thing we've done, we've got something to say, it's probably no point doing it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, we'll probably be pushing forward with more new stuff, I guess.
And are you here all weekend?
We're here till tomorrow. At some point, we'll be going
evening-ish,
tomorrow
yeah.
evening.
Cool.
Yeah, so
That's fine. We will catch up for a drink, I think, somewhere along the line.
Hope
certainly
so.
shall.
Yeah.
After our set tonight,
to see you.
you'll
Yes.
have some fun with us.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for giving us your time, and it was
Thanks
a
very
really
much for having
interesting
us.
interview.
Thank you
As
very much.
always, love it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm gonna hug
Thank
you.
you. Oh,
Wait,
well,
for a
let's have
hug
hug
too.
I'm launching in.
Hey, leg down, son.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
And watch out for bikes.